What up, YouTube? Knowledge of self-determination. So, this election cycle has come and gone. Donald Trump looks to be a one-term president, and Joe Biden seems to be the new president of the United States of America. I guess yay for white supremacy, or boo for white supremacy, whatever. Listen, people, that is a lateral shift. It's a lateral move. Black people gain nothing by Democrats or a Democratic candidate being president of the United States. We gain nothing. And there seems to be just way too many black people who are, cutting a jig, doing the wobble with Hillary Clinton because a Democrat is the president of the United States once again. We have gained nothing, and our people are overly excited about the nothing that we just gained. We have two people who, at the beginning of the presidential race, were actually competing against one another. They both had their dirty laundry aired in public arenas. So anybody who claims to have been following this political cycle and paying attention to the debates and still thought it was a good idea to vote two people who have more history of locking up black people, or a longer history of locking up black people than I do have years on the planet, that is saying a lot. Now, Kamala Harris is not a friend to black people and has never claimed to be one. In fact, she continues to remind us of how much of an Indian American she actually is. Tulsi Gabbard dropped bombshells on Kamala Harris when they debated and told Kamala Harris about her quite shitty record when it comes to incarcerating black people. Kamala Harris has dropped some pretty nice bombshells about, old Jim Crow Joe Biden. How, he, was mentored by segregationists, basically redneck white supremacists from the South, basically, the Confederacy, basically, or Confederate States, rather. And how, Joe Biden had these alleged accusations of sexual misconduct from all these different females, which seems to be just kind of rampant in upper white class society. All these guys seem to be rapey perverts for some reason. It just seems to be a part of their culture. Interesting, right? But Kamala Harris said that, Joe Biden was accused of these sexual misdeeds, and I believe the women. And now she is his vice president. Isn't that something? These are two people who have been put on blast for their shady, shitty records, have not been able to intelligently retort or rebut any of the allegations made against them. They have each gone after each other's throat, and now they are the president and vice president combination of the country. People with seriously long records and reputations for locking up black people, like Kamala Harris and her seeking the death penalty for innocent black men. It's these people's history in their past is just awash with treachery towards black people. Now, I want to touch this subject real quick. This Democratic Party has been trying to piece together this non-black coalition, this LGBTQ, immigration, intersectional, transgender, uh, pirates with puffy shirt coalition. Like anybody who is not black, anybody who is not white, and anybody who is an other is a part of this Frankenstein coalition that they tried to piece together in order to basically displace the black vote. And the funny thing is, the policies that these people are putting in place to further embolden and empower these other groups. They're they have actually convinced a certain number of black people to actually speak against their own interests, to help vote in people who are creating policies to replace these very same black people with other people, because they know they can't depend on the black vote. At least they won't be able to going forward, not like they have been. And there are black people who are actually speaking out against their own best interests and voting for people and supporting people who are in turn supporting other people that they want to bring into the country to displace the people that they need the support of to make it happen in the first place. I'm baffled by that. So I'll go and purchase a gun, get it registered in my name, buy shells for it, take the gun apart, clean it, oil it, put it back together, load it, hand it to you so you can shoot me in the head. Basically, right? No one else votes against their own best interests. We seem to be one of the only groups that does that in such large numbers. I am not a fan of that whatsoever. I don't support any of the policies of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because none of their policies, nothing that they're introducing is speaking to me in a form of black empowerment. So why would I vote for them? Why would I choose them? People say, and I've heard too many black people say this, older black people, you have to vote for the lesser of two evils. You got to get Trump out of office. They are going to introduce police reform. What about their immigration reform and what they plan to do for LGBTQ people? What about the Black and Brown Coalition? All dumbass arguments. Because I'm black and a black agenda and black empowerment is what I'm looking for. Why would I want to be a part of a coalition with groups of people who can't stand me, who hate my guts? Why would I want to be a part of a coalition of individuals like that? Because these immigrant groups don't speak out for black issues. When they talk about something that happened to black people, they always tie minorities into it. They don't just talk about black people. They talk about the struggles of minorities. So we have people constantly working against us 24/7. We even have our own people working against us 24/7 because of their own individual benefits, because of an extra couple of $1,000s, maybe tens, hundreds, maybe even millions of dollars, possibly, right? But their best interest is always themselves and not us. So, what did you vote for as a black person in this country? Did you vote for a lateral exchange of white supremacists? Is that what you voted for? Did you vote simply because you wanted people to like you, be happy with you, to look at you as a very upstanding and progressive individual? Is that what you voted for? You just voted just to get Trump out of office? Is that what you voted for? You voted because you believe in the immigration policies of these Democrats? And if you can't get something out of it, well, hell, somebody should get something, right? Is that what you voted for? Did you vote because you got Jesus on your side and, you don't need a savior because, you got Jesus? Jesus will save you. Is that what you voted for? Because if you voted simply to get Trump out of office, if you voted simply because you wanted to choose the lesser of two evils, if you voted because you believe that spirituality is going to save the day at the end of the day, I'm going to say something that you should already know about yourself. You are not a person that cares about black people, at least. You are not a person who has black people's best interests at heart. You are not an individual such as this. That is not who and what you are. And I just want you to know that. It's time for us to get serious. It's time to take off the kid gloves with these traitors and these bootlegs. It's really time for us to put the hammer down on this dumb shit. It really is. It's really time. It's really time. The black celebrities, all the other black bootlegs, the dead, failed black media, the Tom Joyner's, Roland Martins, the Ebony Essences, and BET of the world, all these dumbasses. It's time to take off the kid gloves and start smacking people in the head. I don't necessarily mean physically, but hey, sometimes somebody needs to be jacked up. But it's really time to start doing it. I mean, we aren't that deep as the B1 Brigade. We aren't that deep, but we come with a lot of force. There isn't a lot of us. However, we still have momentum. And what do they say about momentum? Consistency. And consistency builds momentum. Right? So I'm going to make this video less than 15 minutes long. But I just wanted to get those things off my chest. I was going to ask before the election, what are black people voting for? Or what are they going to vote for? But now that it's the aftermath, I see what black people decided to vote for. Not in large, overwhelming numbers, mind you, but still enough for this asshole to win. Now that our enemies, specifically talking about the bootlicks and Sambos amongst us, have basically played their cards, and a lot of them have doubled down. We know who these people are. Now we can start the process of weeding them out, excommunicating them, canceling them, basically. No longer supporting these people. And the people who support them. It's time to start doing that. Because let's face it, the only way we get into the future is together. There is no separation that's going to allow us to stay a cohesive unit and proliferate into the future and get what we deserve. It's not going to happen. But when it's all said and done, this is just one more battle in the war against white supremacy. This isn't over. This is just one election out of many. We still have a lot of time left to turn things around into our favor. And I believe we can do so. I'm not discouraged one bit. And I'm not afraid of Trump supporters roaming the streets, prowling the streets, looking for some action or whatever. Like people were afraid that there was going to be some civil disruption and uprising or whatever. Hey, let the chips fall where they may.